Hey everyone, it's Adele and April from JSS Scrap, and we are here with Technique Tuesday. So today we are going to be taking our acrylic shapes. We have played with them in the past to stickle them and stuff, but we're going to do something different today, and we are going to emboss them. So put your learning caps on, and we're going to show you a new technique. All right, so like we said, we are going to be working with our acrylic shapes today and the embossing powder. So I have a tray here that I use to catch the embossing powder. But you don't have, if you don't have anything like this, use a piece of paper. So I'll kind of show you both ways. But we're going to be working with our Heat It craft tool by Ranger. So we sell these. There's a caution on the other side. This is not a hairdryer, so craft use only. So I have a few different things that we're going to work with. First, I have our acrylic hearts. So this is the bag of acrylic hearts. There's tons of them in here, but first I'm going to use this bigger one. And I'm actually going to pull out our Versamark ink. So the Versamark ink is what you're going to use to actually get the embossing powders to stick. So what I'm going to do here is, let me actually introduce our embossing powders to you. So we have, first off, we have the clear embossing powder. This is just going to take a surface and make it shiny. This is our white embossing powder, so if you emboss anything, it's going to be white. This is our silver. It's going to just be a silver matte. And then this is our Princess Gold, which is going to be also a gold matte. Then what we've also now have is our tinsel ones. So these are going to have glitter in them. So this is our tinsel, silver tinsel. We have our copper tinsel, which this one's really pretty. We have our gold tinsel, which is this one. And we also have a red tinsel, which I don't end up having with me. But to start on this first one, I am actually going to use, I think, the silver tinsel. Just to kind of show you how this is. So also, if you have it, you're going to want a tweezer. So I've got my close to my heart tweezer here. And I'm going to actually plug in my heating tool. So it's got the little thing to keep it together. And then I always, just with in general, I always make sure I keep this just so when I unplug it, I can plug it, put it back on there, and nothing gets hurt. So the Versamark ink, it is going to look like this. It's actually going to be very, very squishy. So that's just because of the nature of the ink, just so it captures what is actually being put onto whatever surface. So it's going to feel weird. But I'm going to saturate my heart in that. And this is what a tweezer is good for, to pick it up. And then I'm going to flip it to the side that's actually inked. And we are going to put the tinsel, the silver tinsel embossing powder on it. So this is why I'm saying the tray is good, just because the tray will actually capture the glitter. But once again, paper is also fine, because you can then just fold the paper up. I'll show you an example with the paper. We're going to use our tweezers here to just grab that. This is a bigger heart, so my tweezers are, I got to open them a little bit more. But there you go. You've got this heart now completely covered. And what the tweezers are also good for is not burning your hands. So I'm going to just grab a part here with the tweezers. Move this to the side, and I'm not going to show you actually on my surface here, because the Versamat is great for, it is self-healing and stuff, but you don't want to heat it, so that, because you don't want it warping. So I'm going to take this, it's got its on and off button, but I'm just going to do that off to the side here. So just so you can kind of see the difference here, you can see the edges are heated up and the middle is still has to be heated. So I just kind of wanted to show you what that looks like. So because of the acrylic nature of the heart, it did take a little bit longer to heat, but it did work. If you can see that, I'm just letting it cool off a little bit here. What you are going to want to do then with your extra embossing powder, because you never want to waste your embossing powder, is you want to then, whatever you're using, make sure you get it to the bottom. And it's really good if you have a brush or something to move all that glitter down. Like I have a sponge, so I can just use my sponge to just kind of get it down there. Usually I use a paintbrush, but I don't know where my paintbrush is at the moment. So I've got that, and then I'm just going to open this up. Not get it all over my Versamat like I just did. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I also just have the piece of paper underneath it just to make sure. but then with whatever tool you're using to get it all down into its thing, because you want to make sure that you clear whatever you're using off, because you don't want to contaminate your different colors either. So that is how you get that back in there. And then we're going to close that up. And I want to also show you a few different things here. So I'm just going to throw some of this to the side. I'm always glittery, so don't worry, when you are using embossing powder, you're going to get glittery, especially if it's a glittered one. But just to show you, like, that's super cool. And now you have a raised, awesome heart that is really good for using on any of your layouts or something like that. So that's really cool. All right, so next we are actually going to be taking one of the acrylic shapes that just came out with our Aurora workshop. So these acrylic shapes are only available until the end of June. So I actually have the little like location marker here. And Close to My Heart actually had a really good tip when they were doing this. So what I'm going to take is I'm just going to take a mini glue dot here, and I'm going to just put one right onto the edge of that marker. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put it on my finger like this. So I am actually going to use the white embossing powder on this one. So what I'm going to do now that this is on my finger like this is I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it into my Versamark, because you see how actually that was sticky. It's a very sticky ink, like I was saying. So I have that now in my Versamark ink pad, and it is totally inked up there. And in case you don't have something to either hold it in, or if you don't want to use a piece of paper, this is a great way, because now I can actually just stick this in here, and I don't have to deal with re-putting the powder in. So I'm just going to tap off that extra. If you find that there's a spot that didn't get the powder that you want to have the powder, or if you touch it accidentally, you can then just re-powder it that way. So I've got that. I'm going to put this to the side. And now I have my all-purpose mat here. You can see that it's a lot tinier than what it normally is. So this is really good if you actually are traveling and don't want to bring your full all-purpose mat. You can kind of just cut it into fourths. And that's what I have here. I have a fourth of my mat. So what I'm going to do, because I moved it off of my Versamat can't be heated. My table should survive. So I'm actually going to, and obviously you can heat emboss on the all-purpose mat. That is the purpose of it. Just not on top of the Versamat, because if you do it on top of the Versamat will warp. And we are just going to heat this up really quickly. So it is a slower process because you do have to get that heat, and I'm continuously moving it around because I can actually feel the heat where I am too. But you can start to see the edges are embossing. So I'm trying to keep it away from a lot of stuff that is on my desk. That's why I'm really facing it more towards me than putting the heat out towards everything else. But my surface is going to be hot after this, so you do really need to be careful when you are doing something like this. But you can see it is heating up. Just trying to get those last final spots. Doing it from the edge. I'm just going to go over it just so I can get that last little bit. Alright, perfect. I'm going to put that to the side now. So now you can really see that it is, the texture of the powder really does change. But now, instead of having that dark peacock color like it was, I'll pull out the other one so you can kind of see exactly what I'm talking about. Where did that other one go? Here it is. You can see what a difference it is. And from the side, it also looks really cool because I'm going to wait for it to dry a little bit more or become less hot. You can kind of see from the side without me even picking it up yet. You can kind of still get that peacock color in it, and it looks really cool from the side, but now it's a white top. So it's a really interesting thing that you can do with your embossing powders, and that's just a slight thing that we can do with it. I also want to just grab one of the hearts again. I'm going to pick that up, put it to the side. And because it's got that glue dot on it, ooh, it's still a little hot. Because it's got that glue dot on it, I can still use it for other projects. So I'm just going to leave it face down right now while it's cooling off. And I am just going to take one of these open hearts now. So why I'm doing this is because I actually want to show you how you can emboss with our embossing ink pens. So you can do this on paper and everything too, but I kind of just want to show you how you can kind of make a design on something like this if you don't want to use the full Versamark ink. So with these pens, you actually have 3 different sizes. So it's going to tell you here, brush, broad, or medium. So the difference is the brush is a brush tip. So you can do things like the Penmanship by Melissa Esplin. The broad is going to be a really, really thick tip. And then the medium is going to be that smaller tip for you. So I'm taking my medium, and I'm actually going to take, I want to take my copper. I like copper. It's pretty. So what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to just make a line design on here. So you can kind of see that I don't have to put this in the Versamark this time, because now this is the ink that is going to pick up my powder here. And I'm going to get this awesome stripey design on my acrylic heart. And what's also cool about this is once you do one and you do a powder with it and emboss it, you can then go back and actually fill in other parts of it as well with your other powders. So I'm actually using my paper now just to show you how you can use a paper. I'm just going to sprinkle it on there a little bit. Then I'm going to grab it by the edge just so I can tap off the other embossing powder. And for something like this, you really do want to make sure you tap it off so it's just the parts that you have colored and designed, because even if you don't have embossing powder like here, the powder will still melt and it might stick, because that's just the nature of embossing powder. So you really want to make sure that you have the area is completely cleaned that you are embossing. Okay, that looks pretty good. And look, it's cute. So I'm going to put that to the side just for now while I move this. And with paper like this, all you've got to do is first let me get that back down. And I kind of just pinch the edge and pour it right back in. And you can see it's stuck a little, so I'm just going to tap that. Good enough. And close this, and we are going to go back to here. My surface actually is cooled down now, so it's not as bad, but it still is a little bit warm, so you just want to be careful of that. And now this is also warm, so I'm going to move that to the side just to make sure I don't reheat that. And we're going to take this in. So this should actually go quicker. Ooh, it's moving a little, so I'm going to just go above. Didn't think about that one. You could also grab it with your tweezer if you would like to. So that was easier because it was a smaller portion of it. But once I let that dry, I can go back again with my pen and kind of fill in the other spots with a color. But what also is really cool about embossing powder is you can go over it twice as well. So if I wanted to even, I can now put this back in Versamark ink, re-ink it with the white and make it even thicker. So those are our acrylic shapes embossed, just to kind of show you the difference. And you can see that this and this one are using the tinsel, and then this one is the matte. You can see the difference of the sparkle in them. But that is our Technique Tuesday. If you have any questions, please let us know. That's Technique Tuesday. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please let us know. We also have some really, really fun information. We ended our first virtual weekend this weekend, and it went off with a hit. Yes. So we had a ton of women participating, and we have now set up our second virtual weekend. We're working on the 3rd. So the second one is going to be in July. It's going to be July 23rd to the 26th. I said that right, okay. July 23rd to the 26th. And what it's going to include is we're going to basically be taking our physical weekends and putting them online. So we've got some kinks that we got to work out with this one, but we totally figured it out, and it was a lot of fun, and people were interactive, and it totally worked. We even did a Zoom at the end, so that was fun. So it is a $75 fee, and with the fee, you're going to get door prizes, or you're going to get a welcome pack, everything that you would at a weekend. We're going to be giving you supplies and everything. And we are also going to be doing a free scrapbooking class and a free card class. So with the materials that you are going to get from the weekend, we're going to send everybody a package. So you're going to get some magic mail from us. So scrapbooking magic mail, doesn't that sound fun?
Crafty mail.
Woohoo! We have to come out with a new term now.
Yes, I know.
So we're going to be sending out a package to you, and in that package you're going to get a bunch of supplies, and we're going to be doing demos during the weekend. We're going to be doing games. We're going to be giving out tickets, raffle prizes at the end. So we're going to do a lot of things like that. Super interactive and fun. And we're going to be doing, I said demos, and we're going to be doing the scrapbooking and the card class. So those are going to actually use the things that are in your kit, but you don't have to take the classes with us, or you can take the classes and use different materials. So we had a few ladies, I'm going to shout out to Judy right now because I know she always watches these. Judy was doing beautiful kits this week following our classes, but she hadn't gotten her box yet due to COVID, so she was making up as she went along with us, and they turned out gorgeous. So
yes, they did.
She
always does an awesome job.
So all that, but we are going to have signups through July 6th, and we're doing that because that will give us a leeway to kind of figure out and be able to send out the boxes, and hopefully by that point mail won't be as slow as it is now. So for that $75 fee, which can either be paid through a check in the mail or Venmo, that's the preferred. We could always work something else out if you need it. But we are going to be doing a virtual crop, and we already have a bunch of people signed up already, which is really fun.
Very
so
exciting.
we only announced it on Sunday, and we have a ton of people already, so we're excited. And if you want to bring a friend along, that's great. We'll give you even more tickets. So we're gonna have fun. And once again, our mystery hostess is also out still. So we started a new mystery hostess for June. We're already up to 2 mystery hostess people. We might be up to a 3rd at this point.
We're
very close.
Maybe
we're
might
really
be
close to a 3rd.
It's starting another party. Yep.
So get those orders in, ask us questions, and we hope that you guys are staying active online. If you aren't and you're missing your crop groups, please join ours on Facebook at Just Say Scrap. We've got a wonderful group going, and we're hoping that we're bringing you guys some joy during this time. So, all right, that's Technique Tuesday, and we'll see you on Tuesday, or we'll see you online. Bye. Going to be diving in. I don't even know what we're doing. Thinking caps on, I guess, or get your learning caps on. That's what I was looking for.
Yes, help us think of a Technique Tuesday. Take 3.
So get your learning caps on.
Get your Acrylic.
Stop. And we will be. Stop.
Stop. You can't tell me stop because it just makes me go.
I'm gonna have a whole outtake of you just laughing.
Stop. I'm very serious.
Bye-bye.
Not me, it's the
Thinking
bird.
cap. You're about to cry. We're gonna show you a new technique.
Learning caps. Wait.
Learning caps on, and we are gonna show you.
Wait, you said it right. You said it right.
No, I didn't.
Wait.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Technique Tuesday.
Cool.
So, that is kind of what our what is that?
I have no idea.
What our embossing powders. Are you doing that on purpose?